Welcome to the SNF Spotlight Series, brought to you by Renewal Rehab, a dynamic therapy company that provides full-service therapy for nursing homes. You'll be hearing from some of the leading nursing home professionals in the country, as well as many healthcare heroes that are sacrificing day in and day out to help your loved ones recover and come home to you.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the SNF Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Yitz Rubin, Director of Business Development with Renewal Rehab, and I have the privilege to speak with Alyssa Tumulak. She's the Clinical and Quality Assurance Liaison with Grandison Management. Alyssa, it's a pleasure speaking with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
So my name is Alyssa Tumulak. I'm a Filipino physical therapist. I came here in the U.S. Like nine years ago. I was recruited by Grandison Management. I was a contract physical therapist for the first 5 years, and then after 5 years, on my 6th year, I was made the Clinical and Quality Assurance Liaison for Grandison. So, in a nutshell, my position is basically twofold. Like, I deal with the physical therapists, like all our clinicians, mostly like training or anything anything clinical in their practice. I make sure that, they're happy with their placements, any new clinical information, share with them CEUs and all of that. And the other part is I also deal with quality assurance with the clients where they are placed. I make sure that our clients are happy, their directors are happy, supervisors are happy. If there's anything that the directors or supervisor want to improve on or commend them for their clinical skills, then all of those I take care of. So it's basically making sure the therapist is happy and the client is happy.
So what exactly does Grandison Management do? Can you give us a little rundown about that? Okay,
so Grandison Management, we recruit physical therapists from the Philippines. So we're a staffing agency, but I would say we're atypical staffing agency because we take care of the therapists from the beginning, from getting them licensed here in the U.S., taking the NPTE, taking care of all of their school records, getting them doctorates, and then all the immigration stuff like work visas, green cards, and so that when they come here, when we bring them over here, they're all set and ready to work in the different facilities who we partner with. We take care of all the immigration and licensing stuff. So our therapists are under contract with us.
So do you guys train them in the Philippines as well, or is that a separate program that they get the training they need and then you would bring them over and have them as part of your team and staff them out to SNFs and other places that might need their services?
Right. So we actually have our own, it's a review center in the Philippines. So we start, we have our instructors over there who prepare them, for the test that they're about to take. So that's our partner review center. And then once they pass the NPTE, once they are licensed, we also have partners employment agencies in the Philippines that take care of all the documentation stuff, but training, we're involved from the second that they start preparing for the test. So it's the training that we're involved with really starts all the way back from the Philippines.
So what are some of the benefits, Alyssa, that you would say that your staffing agency provides over trained professionals in the U.S. or other countries?
So I would say being I was one of the contract therapists of Grandison also. I would say, and now I see how with direct hires and other other professionals in the field. When we provide our therapists to a facility, it's that therapist is guaranteed like to be in that facility for a minimum of 3 years, because like that's like, like their contract with us. So it's like they're with us, so like I'm giving you this therapist to work for you for like, minimum of 3 years. That's the minimum. And like, when it comes to like patient care, like continuity of care, like that's like a big plus. Like, like the facility is not gonna worry that, okay, like maybe next month or like in like 3 months, like my therapist is like, like gonna move on, or like, like find something else, like, just the guarantee like of like that therapist like being with you for like, like a certain period of time. Like I think that is like the best, like, like advantage that we give.
So what else do you guys just provide therapists or other nurses or other professionals as well from the Philippines?
So from the Philippines, like we like the established like arm of Grandison is like the therapist. Like we've been recruiting for like like we're actually on our 10th year like now, but we are starting to roll out the nursing recruitment and occupational therapy in the Philippines.
Do the professionals that you bring over, do they have an opt-out clause? Can they leave within 3 years? Like, how do you keep them with that?
So the contract is designed like, like for them to like be with us like for a minimum of 3 years. Like there's no, unless like it's like really like a crazy like situation, but like, like on like normal circumstance, like, like it's like a minimum of 3 years.
How have things changed for your company with the training and bringing people over during this COVID situation?
So bringing people over, we had like new challenges, being like, like travel. There's like a lot of restrictions. Even like embassies like have like, like they're not really like operational. So those are like the main challenges that we had to go through. Like it would take like a longer like period of time to like, for example, like something that would usually take like say 6 weeks, like with like the whole like COVID and like, people trying to figure out how to work things out, like would take longer. So that I would say is like the biggest challenge. Training wise, like, just because like we don't get to be like with a therapist like, as much as we used to, like with the restrictions like, of us like going into or visiting them in like the different facilities. So we just try to like, utilize like Zoom, Skype, or like, these new methods of like, meeting, so that we can still like, be in touch and be face to face with them. So that's also one, like, I would say is one of the challenges, because we never did this. Like before, we used to just like, like visit them, see like, like what's going on. Yeah.
So what do you wish some of your potential clients would know about using your services over others, or maybe only looking for U.S. employees?
So one of the things that I noticed is there's this notion that if like agency rates and direct hire rates, like there's like a discrepancy, like, like agency rates are much more expensive than if you hire directly. But like in the long run, I would say like the benefits like outweighs that aspect, meaning like, it might be like the rate might be higher than a direct hire, but like if I can guarantee you that, like this therapist is going to be with you for minimum of 3 years, like you don't have to worry of like not having a PT or head therapist in your building, then that's like, I think that outweighs like the discrepancy, like the rates. But usually like, that's like the common notion, like, like, oh, we don't want to use agency people because the rates are higher. But like, if we will like take the time to look at that aspect, like, it's a game changer.
So what would you tell people about like, I would love to know a little bit more about the culture, the Philippines culture, and what their work ethic is. Is there like a way to describe that?
So that's fine. So work ethic, like I would say, really, this is like this applies to like all Filipinos, not just like therapists. Like, but like there's always like this. We always go the extra mile, like like which means a lot, and especially like like nowadays, like like with everything that's going on, like Filipinos would always go the extra mile to like whatever you need, like there's always like they're gonna try like their best to like provide or like help out or like do the job and always put something extra in it. Cultural background, like we are really like innately caring, which is a big deal to be like to have that when you're in the healthcare profession. Like there has to be like that, because we don't do like we don't work with computers, like we work with like with like human beings, like so like being like innately caring, it makes a big difference.
As opposed to Americans who are very cold.
No,
I'm just
didn't say that. That's not true.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. It was really a pleasure to speak with you. And, I know we're a client of yours and we're looking forward to growing together.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the SNF Spotlight series. Please subscribe to our channel as there will be many new and exciting episodes from our healthcare heroes.